Here to discuss this further is Andrij Dobriansky, Director of Communications and Media with the Ukrainian Congress Committee of American. We'll talk about the need for funding for Ukraine in just a moment, but the headline and the fallout continues over Navalny's death. How critical is it that his body recovered and more information is found and born out of this investigation into how he died?
Well, the important thing to realize about Navalny's death is it was announced by the Russian government. As far as we know, the announcement came out 2 minutes after his time of death was listed by on the official records. So this is a message killing to the rest of the world and to the Russian population. As far as his body and his autopsy, his widow said that they're probably waiting for the poisons to be leached out of his system. We know that Navalny was poisoned once already. We know that he was threatened. He was attacked multiple times during his life. It's not a question of whether the Russian government wanted him dead. It's the fact that it's an example of the kind of government they want for their people, which is constant repression.
Right, and several hundred people have detained in protests in Russia, and news of Navalny's death, while it spread across the world, Andrij, it did not get covered on Russian media at all. Let's talk about the capture of this latest city in Ukraine. Is Putin further emboldened by Navalny's death as we watch what's happening on the ground in Ukraine?
Again, he controlled his death in our estimation, a lot of people's estimation, including the widow of Navalny. So it's not that the death has emboldened him. What has emboldened him is the fact that he sees an opportunity for the West to pull back, especially by controlling Congress. So we have all four members of Republican leadership, whether it's Speaker Johnson, whether it's Elise Stefanik, Mr. Scalise, Tom Hemmer, all of them pledging that they will not allow this vote to go that we know the majority of Congress would vote for. That's being controlled by the whims of Donald Trump because these people are too afraid to stand up to him. What we need is a vote to happen ASAP. And frankly, that's what everybody in Munich at the security conference is announcing. Minority Leader Jeffries announced today that he's never heard more foreign leaders talk about the minutia of congressional procedure as he did at this weekend, trying to get the United States to do the right thing.
How detrimental will it be to Ukraine if this aid package does not come through?
It's detrimental now. It has been detrimental for almost 2 months. I would point to December 29th, when Russia launched the biggest missile attack against Ukraine since the invasion began in February 2022. Over $1 billion in missiles were rained down on Ukraine, and it has continued that on a weekly basis. Massive missile launches. Why are they doing that? They're trying to find out if finally those Patriots, those Western arms that are supposed to shoot down rockets, have finally been depleted. And once that happens, you will see giant craters in the middle of Kyiv.
And talk about the capture of this latest city, the significance of it, and what it signifies across Ukraine. What do we know about this community?
Well, it's a suburb of Donetsk. It took Russia longer than it did to capture Berlin, to capture this small little suburb. So we know that Ukraine is very good at defending positions. It wants to. What Ukraine concentrated on was removing all of its soldiers in an orderly and secretive fashion so it could protect these soldiers to leave. So it gave up that position for the future of one day, liberating that town, as it has in many areas across Kherson and other places. If the West is ready to arm, which means giving Americans jobs to produce weapons and sending those weapons to Ukraine, if the United States is on board with that, Ukraine can certainly liberate a lot more territory.
And I know a lot of pressure is on the West to do so, but what about other countries? Denmark, for example, has decided to donate all of its artillery to Ukraine. Who else might step up to assist?
We just heard from Slovakia, the Czech Republic. A lot of European countries are saying that we have identified places where we have this artillery. Frankly, the only issue is, and even in the United States, it's accounting. It's people want to figure out who's going to pay for this in the end, because at some point those reserves of weapons will have to be restocked. That's what happens in the United States. That's what happens for European countries. They need to find the money to be able to restock that, and they need to make sure that the production capability is able to restock that quickly.
Yeah, before Putin strikes again. Andrij Dobriansky, as always, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The Department